Hey guys, it seems no one remembered to tell Command to stop, and so they just kept going. Hot off the heels of Zombicide 2nd Edition, with Christmas right around the corner, I really need to tell you about this. We're all in this together. This is a full-blown 4-alarm holiday emergency here. I'm sure Command hopes to find the happiest Christmas backers since being never mind. Heck, I imagine Command hopes to squeeze their fat hands into your wallet this Christmas, hoping to find their jolliest bunch of backers this side of the nut house. With that awkward moment behind us, let's talk about the game details. So, Night of the Living Dead, a Zombicide game. What is it? Well, there's actually a few new things here. The largest difference is that there are no Abombinations. Yeah, that's right, no big baddies. There are, however, breakers and relatives, along with your normal fatties and walkers. Breakers are zombies that use items such as bricks and broken newel posts to break down doors and barricades. Relatives are a bit different in that they debuff the whole group of survivors. Here's how. In this version of the game, each survivor comes with 2 miniatures and a double-sided stack card. On the one side, you have the normal Zombicide survivor, but if anyone comes into contact with a now zombified relative of theirs, then the emotional distress gets the better of them, reverting to the classic Ramiro mode, where they lose many of their abilities and struggle to find equipment. Missions are all set to mimic key scenes from the movie, so the IP is baked into the game mechanics and the scenario setup, not just the art. While not new, they are continuing the ability to drive vehicles with a rideable truck. It's no RV, but I bet they got it off a buddy of theirs when they sold him the house. There's a few more things like cornfields and forests and stuff on the map that you can see in the rulebook, but that's the main new stuff in the game. So now, let's talk about the campaign specifics. First of all, this is only an 8-day total Kickstarter campaign, and because Command doesn't play nice with anyone honest in their videos, it's coming to you a day late because they don't share the information in time for me to get it to you on day one. I apologize, I can only do what I can. Most importantly, you should note that while there are some Kickstarter exclusives, more on them in a second, there are no stretch goals and no optional buys. This is straight up a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. Well, sorta. More on that in the King's Decree. There are 2 pledge levels, one for the English language and one for the French. Why they felt the need to have 2 pledge tiers instead of just selecting the language in the PM like all of their competitors is beyond me, but whatever. This pledge, which regardless of the version you get, will cost you $80 and comes with the game plus a couple of Kickstarter exclusives. So what's in the box? You get 66 miniatures, including 6 survivors in both versions, 12 breakers, 2 relatives, 12 fatties, and 28 walkers. You also get the 6 plastic dashboards, lots of tokens and equipment and spawn cards, pegs and counter bases, 6 tiles, and 6 plain dice you'd mistake for your grandmother's Yahtzee dice. But wait, there's more. They say 10 Kickstarter exclusives, but it's really 6. 4 new survivors with 2 miniatures each, plus 2 new ghouls, a random naked lady and a boring grandma relative mini. Shipping is estimated to be about $15 to most of the US and anywhere from $25 to $40 to most of the EU, and delivery is estimated for October 2020. Now, it's tempting to say that this is a high quality item, and that if you were able to fumigate this here game, it might not set you back much. But that's what the King's Decree is for. I'll come right out and say it. It's too expensive and priced like an expansion. They are saying it's $10 less than the retail, and with the quote-unquote 10 Kickstarter exclusives. But that's ignoring, well, their other Kickstarters. Just their last Zombicide Kickstarter, which also happened to be their last Kickstarter, Zombicide 2nd Edition, that set you back $100 for the reboot pledge, and that game came with 167 miniatures, many of those large Abombinations, plus 9 double-sided tiles instead of just 6, and 15 extra missions. Suddenly, paying that $20 difference for 15 extra missions, that's more than the core box by the way, so over double the playable scenarios, and 100 more miniatures, many of them much larger than these, seemed like a much better deal, right? Speaking of which, did you notice that they didn't mention the available missions at all? Their list of what you get only includes physical components. While I'm assuming there will be 10 missions like normal, there's no telling. At this rate, I think by this time next year, Command will just completely forget they're even selling an actual game and forget to post anything but the miniature renders. You know what though? I think I know why this might be the case. Notice how even though this is just a core box, the delivery date is still estimated to be a year out, the same as their normal Kickstarters? I believe that's because they still need to actually make some scenarios. It explained why it's set to deliver just a single month after Zombicide 2nd Edition, which has over triple the amount of missions, a campaign mode, a pen and paper RPG, and a travel version. Of course, now that I list all of that, it's no wonder that there's already another Come On Kickstarter out with even more content that's obviously not even made yet, during a time where they are in a 6-month delay mode with half of their outstanding Kickstarters. And with the lack of communication around those, I wouldn't be surprised to see an even larger delay. At this point, I feel you're kidding yourself if you don't think Come On is overreaching and continuing to do so. In my line of work, we call this technical debt. To keep the boat floating, they pump out more with no regard to the fact that they actually need to then make all this stuff, making them behind in other areas as they spread themselves thinner and thinner. It's just not sustainable. Keep in mind the only reason we have this random quick zombie Kickstarter campaign right now is because they had to delay Ankh, which wasn't ready for Kickstarter yet, and they had been sitting on this IP for about a year now. It reeks something nasty, like it was hastily thrown together and pushed out in hopes of tiding them over through the year. When I saw the preview of Ankh, they had fully sculpted and painted miniatures, but the only finalized art was the game box. I know exactly what the issue seems to be. With Eric Lang, one of their designers, playing the game on a game map that he made himself in what looks like MS Paint, it's obvious that their bottleneck is game design, and that's not something you can easily hire for or outsource. You can pay whole teams of sculptors all day long, but to create these rules and scenarios to playtest and balance and tweak? That takes a lot of time, and it's painfully obvious to me they've lost all control of the vehicle and are just trying to keep it on the road as much as possible before it crashes. My suggestion, not that anyone cares, is for Come On to take a break. Take the hit on the Chinese stock market you just got on and take a quarter off. Work on some hiring for eventual scaling of the company and on tidying up what you are already on the hook for. Your shareholders won't like it, but your backers will. Fat chance that's ever happening. Now don't get me wrong, I like the changes here. The idea of getting depowered is neat and cinematic. Even the idea of painting the Romero minis in a monochrome way makes me tempted to get this. I'm sure if I backed it, I'd eventually get the game and I'd enjoy it too. And really, I think that's what sucks so much here. I love many Come On games. They can be really great and some of my go-to board games for when I just want to enjoy a night of board games. But Come On gets in the way of Come On. For every good idea like Romero mode, they have a bad idea like posting an overpriced Kickstarter without even bothering to tell us how many missions are in the dang game. While I won't call them cheap, lying, no good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuff... sorry. I did it again, didn't I? Anyway, while I wouldn't be caught dead saying that, Clark certainly might. Okay, you've listened to enough of my ranting here. Sorry about that, guys. It's just really frustrating to see good ideas ruined by poor execution. Considering this is their 41st Kickstarter campaign, I feel there's really no excuse here. But hey, if any of you are looking for any last-minute gift ideas for me, I have one. I'd like you, my viewers, write down in the comments section below. Shake off that happy holiday slumber and let me know what you were hoping to get this year. I'll be sure to wish you a Merry Christmas. And with that, thank you so much for watching. My next video is going to be my huge upcoming 2020 Kickstarter video that you won't want to miss, so be sure to subscribe. It's also the video you need to comment on if you want to win the free copy of Dawn of Madness I'm giving away, thanks to Dimension Games. As always, a ginormous shout out to my amazingly wonderful patrons who allow me to stay completely independent of the industry instead of being in bed with them. You guys all rock. And you know what? You sitting right there watching this video, you rock too. I'm happy to have you as part of the community. You make it all worthwhile. Now, as Clark would say,
I did it.
I always watch out. I can't help but cry. I'm gonna go pout. And I'm telling you why. Santa Claus ain't coming to Mars. Santa Claus ain't coming to Mars. Santa Claus